Guys, Matt Haycox here, and today we have got a repeat guest. Very excited to have him here. Mr. Carl Runefelt is in the house, in the studio at least. Crypto expert, entrepreneur, and Bugatti driving legend, to name but a few things. Carl, thanks a lot for being here, buddy.
Thank you, man. Happy to be back.
2 years. I mean, it's gone fast.
Yeah, crazy. It's it feels actually quite a long time ago.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just a lot of things that happened, I guess.
One thing I've got to ask from the beginning is when we did the podcast, March, April 2022, Bitcoin was about 40K, wasn't it? About $40K back then. I think today, what are we on? We're middle of December. It's about 105.
106, yeah.
106 a day. What's that done for you over the last couple of years? How much have you made?
Well, obviously my net worth has increased like 3x probably, which is great. And yeah, business is booming, and I'm very busy now because now all the companies that I'm involved with have a lot of things to do. There's a lot of money to be made and things to attend to, and but busy is good. That's the good thing with crypto. You have 1 year of bull market and then 3 years of bear market. That's usually the case in crypto. So you have 1 year of making money and building things, or setting things up for the bear market, and then you have 3 years of bear market where you just have to maintain and build and kind of build up for the bull market. So you're essentially planting seeds in the bear market to reap the rewards in the bull market, and that's basically what I'm doing now, trying to reap as many rewards as possible, and collect and basically prepare for the bear market, because that's very important. Most people don't.
Do you make money in a bear market as well? I mean, are you just kind of maintaining, waiting for another bull, or have you got trading strategies and investments that you do that still make you money?
In the bear market, I don't trade, not much. I do small trades, but it definitely not is my main income at that point. Then it's more my businesses. I have my YouTube channel where I make some money also in the bear market, and then I have other companies that I'm involved with. Either I'm a seed investor or I'm a incubator with my group of companies, the Moon Group, and some of them made money in the bear market. Some of them were just maintaining. But yeah, I mean, I make money in the bear market, but way less. It's bull market is like 10, 20 times more.
You sponsored a Formula 2 race team. I think it happened the season after we recorded. Did you do one season or 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
So I think you were just doing it at that point. And I mean, not only did you sponsor a team, but you stuck your face on a Formula 2 car. I mean, I like to think of myself as pretty out there with my branding and with my marketing opportunities. But that has to be the biggest and best marketing opportunity ever. I mean, what was the background to it, and what did it do for you?
Well, first of all, I met Ralph in Monaco like 3 years ago, probably, in the Grand Prix. I was renting a yacht and I had it there in the harbor, and then we had a party with some friends, and he came over, and then we just talked, and he was such a cool guy. We both had a good vibe, and he was looking for sponsors for his car, which he told me like a month later, and he just asked hey, do you want to do something there? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I just started with putting my Instagram handle on the car for 15K or something, just like a small sponsorship. And then the next season, I told him bro, I want to do something crazy. How much to get the whole car? And he was like, well, that's I think it said 2 million, 2.45, something crazy, and I basically said, well, let's just do that, because I want to have the whole car. And the thing is, first of all, I made very good money then. It was a bull market, and it was peak bull market. I was very wealthy, so I had some spare money to spend, and I love racing. And I think Ralph is such a cool dude. He's always been trying to get money himself from investors, because he doesn't have rich parents like most of the other drivers. So I thought I'm helping someone out. I can maybe do some marketing out of it, and hopefully have some fun as well. And all of these things were true. I had a lot of fun. We were traveling around the world, following the car, following Ralph. A lot of wins, a lot of losses. He made podiums. And yeah, honestly, like it was a blast.
And you took the whole car. There was no other sponsors on there.
There was a couple of small sponsors as well, yeah. But that was like 90%, yeah.
Yeah, like being able to be on your feet while you put the whole body.
Yeah, basically.
But you used the word spend. You said you had some spare money to spend. Did you see that as a spend, or did you see it as an investment? As expensive as $2.5 million must be to put yourself on that car, I would imagine the branding opportunities and the doors that open for you should be able to far outweigh that.
Actually, no.
Really?
Yeah, I would say I don't think so at all. I think that the value financially that I got back, like you could count it and like maybe a few $100,000.
Oh, really?
So I would say 90% of that was not coming back in any form of ROI financially. So I think sponsoring in F2, F1, it's hard to make that money back unless you have like a clear product you're promoting. Back then, I was basically promoting like a couple of my companies, but they were a little bit too early stage at that point. And mostly I was just like promoting myself, I would say, which in hindsight, like maybe, I mean, I wouldn't do it again. There's other ways to do it with higher ROI. But I would definitely want to be part of that. So if I went back in time, I would make a smaller sponsorship, like maybe 200-300K or like something like that, because that would be more like for fun kind of money. But that's millions of dollars that you can easily put that in Google ads and get like, you can take over a country of marketing ads, which is better ROI, I think. But I still don't regret it because I had so much fun. And it was such a door opening for me for also going into racing. So now I'm going to start racing myself soon, but then I'm paying for my own racing. And I'm also very happy that I was able to enable Ralph to race. So I definitely don't regret anything, but I'm not going to be spending that kind of money on sponsorship in racing probably ever again, unless it's like F1 with one of my companies in the future. But then it's going to be a little bit different setup. But ROI needs to be the focus, I would say.
People often look at YouTubers or guys who've been successful online and think of it as just these guys have popped a few good videos and everybody just organically arrives on their page anyway. But I think people don't realise how what effort and spend and control goes into building that brand.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean personally, my YouTube channels I did grow them organically, but for the businesses, of course, I think you need to be smart with how you spend the money and sponsoring things. I would say that should come very late stage for a company. It's only about brand awareness. So like when you're Coca-Cola and like Microsoft and like Apple, yeah, it makes sense to do that brand awareness kind of thing. But for earlier stage, like even mid stage, I would say it's too much money, because you can just take that and literally do Google ads or do other kind of paid marketing, which gives you direct referrals, like direct clients. ROI is much higher and way more easier to measure, because that's the problem also with the sponsorship in F2, F1. It's very hard to measure because you don't know. There's no link that people click. They see it on TV, they see it when they're in the paddock, and they're like, maybe they go to your website, maybe they do something with you, but you can't measure where they came from. But with Google ads and Facebook ads and other kind of marketing, you can directly see where they came from, how much money you made from it. So you can see if you spend $1, if you get $2 back or not. But with F2, like I can just estimate, and I can estimate that I didn't make that money back.
And you say you grew your YouTube channels organically, 100% organically. You've never used YouTube ads and things online.
No, all organically.
What do you see as as your tactics or your hooks to be able to have grown those YouTube channels? What could someone listening to this who wants to grow online, not necessarily in crypto, but just build a YouTube presence? What are the key secrets?
I think the key secret is to first of all be consistent and don't overthink the videos. Most people, they have an idea, I want to make a YouTube channel, but then they overthink it too much and they never make that first video, or they make 3 videos and then they give up. I think consistency and just start making content. Any kind of content is very important. And even if your content is shit, which it probably will be, to be honest, the first few videos. My first videos were very bad.
I can't even watch my first videos. I cringe. It brings tears to my eyes.
I know. That's how I feel. Is everyone feels like that, because your first videos are going to be horrible. That's just how learning works. And if you don't make those first videos, you're not going to learn. So you have to make bad videos to eventually make good videos. And I think people overthink it too much and never get started. And that's the most important thing.
Let's talk about your actual businesses, and you've got the Moon Group. I know you trade crypto yourself. You invest in other businesses. You incubate other businesses. Give us the lowdown on what you actually do. What does a typical investment look like for you? How do you get involved? What's a day in the office for the Moon Man?
Well, okay. So first of all, I mean, the most public part of my business is of course my YouTube channel, The Moon Show, where I make daily crypto videos about Bitcoin, altcoins, and I show people what trades I make and what investments I do, and I educate people about Bitcoin and financial markets and like the monetary system and all of that stuff.
And sorry to interrupt, but the monetization of that is that you have a popular YouTube channel that earns you money from AdSense and YouTube ads.
Well, income. AdSense is probably like maybe 1% of the money I make from there. What I actually make from there is sponsorships and partnerships with the affiliate partnerships like exchanges like Bybit, Binance, these kind of guys. Because when I make trades, when I make investments, people want to know which platform I use for it. So of course I have links in my description where people can use those links to go to Bybit and Binance or whatever it is I'm promoting, and yeah. Like they're gonna sign up anyways, so when they use my link, I get a kickback, and that's how I built my first wealth in crypto. Actually, that was my first big money, and I still make money from it, but it was like that was the kickstart of my career.
So you made the channel would generate income, and you invested that income in crypto, and it was a kind of a virtuous circle.
Exactly. So you can say that exactly. So I made good money from affiliate partnerships and sponsorships, put everything into crypto. Crypto has been booming. I've been investing that later then into companies. I acquire companies and I incubate them like that. And yeah, so it's been exponential from there. But basically how it started was like that. And people always want to know, like, how did you make your first money? And yeah, it's affiliate partnerships and sponsorships with my YouTube channel. And I think attention is very monetizable. Like when you have people's attention, you can easily monetize it. And in crypto, the revenue you can make from that is 10 times any other business. So I think, people underestimate how much money you can make with social media if you know how to monetize it. Some people have no clue how to monetize, and then they don't make. But with attention, you should make money. If you don't, then you just don't know business.
The businesses that you invest in, the businesses you incubate, they're crypto businesses. Can you tell us what some of these companies are? What do you look for in an investment, and how actively do you get involved?
Only crypto, of course.
Sorry to interrupt. When you say only crypto, is that crypto, or can that be blockchain, be NFT, be AI?
Well, for example, crypto gaming is something I'm very involved in. I've invested in multiple crypto games, and that's crypto. I mean, they do have NFTs in them, but it's not really like the main, like the main product is the game. So it's a fun game. Like that's the main part of the product, and then there is crypto elements to it. But no, I don't like make NFT collections or like meme coins like other influencers. I think that's it's a good way to. Basically like steal money, I would say. Like that's what people do, like with these meme coins and NFT collections. It's just they promote it to their audience, and then they take the money from their audience basically. So I don't promote that. I think it's very shady. But I promote like real businesses, like with actual products and like long-term visions and that make actual revenue, because meme coins, they don't make money. Like they only make money because someone loses money,
I mean, do any of these meme coins have purported utility?
No, that's actually transparently even the point of meme coins. Everyone says like there's no point of them. They are just a meme coin. It's just a joke. Like, and I think that worked like many years ago with Dogecoin, like Shiba and Floki, like these big ones. But when it comes to these like influencers launching meme coins, like it's just a complete money grab. That's all it is.
I read recently, like very recently, that was, you know, the Hawk Tour girl?
Yeah.
Was she involved in some kind of pump and dump or something? It said that she'd rugged people of like $50 million or something.
Yeah, so that's the story. And I would actually, I mean, look, yes, it sounds very bad and it is bad. But I would like to defend her personally because I think, I mean, I don't know her, but I'm very certain that she doesn't really understand crypto. I think she's not a crypto guy like the rest of us. I think so. I think she got taken advantage of. I'm sure she had some bad advisors next to her that came to her and told her like, look, we can make 50, like even 5 million. We can make millions of dollars with a meme coin. We call it Hawk Tua, and we can monetize your fame, and you'll make money, and your audience will make money. And she was like, yeah, let's do it, you know. And then they do it, and then boom, advisors, they sell all their money, they take all the money. And I think she most likely gets left there with almost no profits, if any at all, and just a huge dent in her reputation. I think that's what happened. Without proof, I'm just saying I'm very sure that happened. And I think the same happened also with like Logan Paul and these guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think they have bad advisors that tell them what to do. And Logan and Hawk Tua, these guys that have like huge following, they feel this FOMO that they should take advantage of the bull market and their audience. And they get bad advice and they launch these things with no experience. They don't know what to do, and the advisors, they leave after they make money, and then the project goes down. And yeah, I think because I mean, Hawk Tua, I don't know, like maybe she's probably not so rich, but I mean Logan Paul, for example, he's worth probably like 100 million above. Like, why would he create like a cryptocurrency to make like 5-10 million if he knew that he would
damage his reputation?
yeah, like it's not worth it, you know. So
you know, I'm with you on the Hawk Tour one, because I mean, yeah, I'm sure maybe being unfair to her, but you'd look at her and you think, yeah, she probably doesn't understand anything about crypto. But then I do look at the Logan, or you know, Logan and Jake, who are, you know, probably some of the smartest business owners, or certainly some of the smartest marketeers out there, and it's probably tougher to think that they don't understand. I'm not saying for 1 minute that they woke up and thought, let's go and scam people, but it is harder to believe that they just do stuff because an advisor says so, you know?
I think so. Again, like Logan, he would never wake up, like you said, and say, let me scam people for 5-10 million, because he knows that his brand is worth maybe billions, you know? So he would never think like that. So I know that his intention when they started it was definitely to create the product. I'm 100% sure. But then the problem is 9 out of 10 startups fail, you know, of many reasons, you know. In these situations, it was not because of money. It was just because I think maybe the product was just very bad. There was no one there to actually make a good product because they didn't really know what they were doing. So I think it ended up being a failed project. But I think that's probably like the what it was. I don't think it was like necessarily a scam in the sense of like that was the intention, but it became the image of it. But like, why would he risk his reputation for 10 million when he's worth so much more? So I would like to defend them, but I don't think these things were good things to do, right? But I also know that from experience, like I've seen my industry friends doing the same mistake, you know, like I've done similar mistakes as well, like not at that scale, but you know, and I just think people get FOMO and they feel like they should take advantage of the bull market and they have bad advice and that's it. But people learn and but yeah, you're gonna see more of these things. Like you're gonna see more influencers launching meme coins and all this bullshit, you know. Like just don't buy them. Like they're gonna go to zero. That's the thing.
I know you just said a minute ago that you don't do NFTs yourself. Have you bought NFTs? Do you have Bored Apes? Do you have, what are those cats called?
I don't have any cats, no. But I have a Bored Ape and I have a CryptoPunk. And then I bought a handful of other things as well, but I think most of them are down to zero now.
And what's your view on them? That it was a bit of fun at the time, but that the financial model of them's gone. I mean, I guess if you bought a Bored Ape before, it must be worth cents on the dollar now compared to.
Yeah, I lost money on them for sure. I don't care because I didn't make them as an investment. I made them more like just. I felt like I needed a couple of NFTs, but I'm not an expert on NFTs, so I don't really know.
Let me hit you with a mad stat. You are probably not subscribed. Seriously, 58% of the people who listen to this podcast every single week do not hit that subscribe button. That is more than half of you. So let's fix this right now. The goal here is super simple. We grow the podcast, we bring in bigger guests, and we give you even more no bullshit, actionable insights to level up your business and to level up your life. Now in business, you set smart goals. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Well, here's one for you. Let's get that 58% down to well below 50% in the next 3 months. So please do me a quick favor. If this podcast has ever given you one good idea, one piece of advice that's helped you or helped your business, then hit that subscribe button. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it means that I can keep bringing you even bigger and better guests, giving you even bigger and better insights. Go on, do it now. I'll wait. Done? Perfect. Great choice. Let's grow this together.
As we move into, even aside from crypto, what is just a constantly more and more regulated world with, with KYC and AML and all this business, do you think that will fundamentally change, what crypto was all about? It was all about in the beginning. Do you think it'll make it worse, better?
I think it's inevitable that we get full regulation and full KYC and everything, because that's what governments want. But it's not gonna necessarily hurt the crypto industry. It will make it grow slower. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I prefer if there's no KYC, because I think the point of crypto is that it should be open for anyone and hide your you should be able to have privacy of money. I think that's very important. Doesn't mean that you do bad things with your money, but hey, maybe you just want to literally hide your money from your wife. I'm not saying that people necessarily go and become terrorists just because they have privacy of money. Maybe you just don't want people to see what you're doing, and I think that's perfectly fine. If I spend money on a car or let's say something more private, I don't want people to know exactly what I'm buying always. And I think that's the point of crypto, to bring a degree of privacy. But that's not maybe the main point of crypto. The main point of crypto is that you can send it without someone stopping it. I think that's even more important, more important than privacy. And that you can keep the money with yourself instead of keeping it in a bank. That's actually the most important thing, because most people keep their money in the bank. Now the bank holds your money, they control your money, they make money on your money, and they even lend your money out to someone else. So when you want to get your money out, you're lucky if it's there, if everyone goes to the bank at the same time and gets the money out, maybe only 3, 4, 5% of the people can actually get their money out, because that's the only money that's actually in the bank. So it's a fractional reserve banking system where that's a scam. They woke up in the morning and they told themselves, let's scam the world. Let's scam every human being on the world. That's what banks do. Banks are evil in the sense that they basically prey on human civilization and make us work for the money, while they just print it like this on a button. That's what Bitcoin challenges, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So that's why most of my net worth is Bitcoin, and it will always be. And every day I want people to buy Bitcoin and accumulate Bitcoin, because I think it's a human right to have ownership of your own money. You should have ownership of your own money, which you can with Bitcoin, with gold, but with fiat currencies you don't. And I tell people every day to buy Bitcoin.
But you'll always need that fiat system, though, won't you? That I guess even if you keep your wealth in Bitcoin or gold, like you say, that you're always going to need to off-ramp something at some point, aren't you?
No, you don't need the fiat system. The fiat system is actually completely unnecessary.
But sorry to interrupt, but only if the entire world decided to dump the fiat system and adopt Bitcoin. Yeah. I guess it's just like having two currencies, isn't it? That you can say, well, the dollar is better than the euro, for example. But you can have all the dollars in the world, but if you want to go shopping in Paris, then you need to change some dollars into euros. Okay,
so basically, right now, Bitcoin is priced in dollars, right? We always say, it's $107,000 or whatever. That will change, because soon one Bitcoin will probably be worth $1 trillion, because of inflation. The dollar loses value every single year through inflation, because they keep printing that money. And by the way, when they print money, they steal purchasing power from everyone who holds the dollar, right? And all the other fiat currencies. So it's theft. But in the future, we will not think in terms of dollars anymore. We will think in terms of Bitcoin. So basically, you will price Bitcoin not in dollars, but in terms of what you can buy for it. Same like with the dollar. You don't really price the dollar against itself. You use it as the measurement tool of other things. So
you'll say that house is 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah,
that is
exactly. That's how it's going to be.
0.002.
Because today you're saying, well, a house is $1 million, but in the future it's going to be, well, it's 1.1 Bitcoin, or maybe 13,000 Satoshis, which is the smallest part of Bitcoin. That's how it will be in the future, and that's when you know that Bitcoin has taken over as the money of the world. Maybe it takes 20, 30 years. I have no clue, but I'm saying it's going to happen because I know it's going to happen. At that point, what the dollar is going to be at, I think it's going to be close to zero, just like Zimbabwe. And like, you know, you have now inflation in Turkey and the South American countries. Like, there's now so much inflation in the world where the national currency of those countries is falling so fast that people have to buy things just to kind of survive. They have to get rid of their fiat currency. And this will happen with the dollar as well. It is happening. It's just going to escalate over the next few years. And I am very, very sure about that. So Bitcoin is like the Noah's Ark of a tsunami of a fiat collapse. That's what I usually say.
Only Bitcoin, or where will some other big name coins like an Ethereum or like an XRP or something, where will they sit in this journey?
I personally don't hold XRP for long-term investment. I did make a bit of a famous trade actually on XRP. Because
I watched it this morning. You ran $211,000 up to $5 million or something.
Yeah. So I took $200,000, a little bit more like I think it was 250 or something like this, all in all, and I put it with the Haycox leverage and with an inverse perpetual contract on Bybit, which means that I make the profits in the XRP currency itself, not in US dollars. So the gains were exponential, and I made this public trade where I did it. I opened it up on my channel. I showed people, and then at the top I sold everything. And then in basically 4 weeks, I made $5.3 million with XRP like that. So, and I sold it already, and I bought Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Solana with those profits.
And just so I understand, when you say you made a trade, was this like a single trade? So I guess putting it in layman's fiat terms, for example, this is like, I bought this building for $1 million and I sold it a month later for $2 million. It's not that you bought this building, sold that, bought another. This is not lots of things. One single trade.
I opened it up at 60 cents. And then 4 weeks later, I closed it at, I think it was 2.7 cents. But with Haycox leverage.
So what we're saying is, in that 4 week period, the price of XRP actually ran from 0.6 to 211, and you bought loads of it because you bought it on leverage. How much can you lever up?
You can do like 100x, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, you can do. But basically, yeah, so you saw like massive Burj Khalifa candle, and that's basically what I was expecting, and it was a perfect trade. I think it's one of my best trades ever for sure. So that was an incredible trade. But it doesn't mean that I endorse XRP. Like, I'm not a fan of XRP. It's just a trade for me. And that's the thing, same with most altcoins. I don't endorse them. I don't tell people to buy them long term. I just open up a trade if I see a good trade. And on my channel, The Moon Show, I show people which trade I make. And sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. But when I win, usually I win big. And that's how I pay for my losses.
What's your biggest loss? Worst trade you've ever done?
Definitely, I lost millions in the past. But
there's not one that sticks to mind, that terrible decision you made.
Well, I mean, yes, but that was like very long time ago when I lost like $300,000, which to me then was like a huge amount. But that was like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember that very vividly. That was bad. That was horrible.
What did you learn from it?
Well, you shouldn't trade with emotions, first of all. Don't do revenge trading, because that's what I was doing there. I lost another trade before, even maybe 2 trades, and then I increased my position more and more to kind of win back what I lost. And by doing that, I completely messed up, and I lost a lot of money. So revenge trading is the first thing you should never do.
Like emotional gambling?
Basically, like trying to get back what you lost. That's bad. When you lost, you should just turn off the computer, take a couple of weeks in the forest to come back, with a new fresh slate and think, make new money, don't make money back. Because making money back, usually you start getting emotional and you make bad decisions.
Do you use the words, take some time off in the forest as a figure of speech, or do you have that side of your life? Like, do you turn the phones off, turn the computers off, and disappear to the wilderness?
I wish I could do more of that. And I mean, I live in Dubai. We don't have a forest, but I guess what I mean is like just take a break from trading, from investments, and just like take a couple of weeks of doing other things, like focus on life, and then come back with a fresh mind. That's important.
Most business advice, it's motivational fluff. It's empty promises and it's untested ideas by people who have never even tried to apply them. It's bollocks, but you're not going to get that here. And that is why I call it No Bollocks. The No Bollocks newsletter is straight talking, high impact, zero time wasting, tried, tested, and immediately actionable. 2 emails a week, insider strategies, brutally honest insights, and the answers to the questions that you're asking, or you should be asking. And the best part, you're going to learn more in 10 minutes than most people learn in a 3-year MBA. Over 20,000 people a week are already in. So don't be the one that's missing out. Hit the link in the show notes, because you just need one email that could be the one that changes everything.
What's your 2025 Bitcoin prediction?
2025, I think we're gonna be probably like 200-300k, if not way higher. I think it's possible that we could see something like 600-700k, which would be mind-blowing, of course, to most people. But for me, I would not be surprised at all, because we have the ETF now, so it's easy to buy Bitcoin for anyone in the world. Just like buying a Facebook stock, you can buy Bitcoin. So liquidity is much higher now, like the access to liquidity is much higher. Trump is president. I mean, look, people say what they want about presidents, but he is bullish on crypto. That's very good for crypto. That's just a fact. And then we have Michael Saylor is buying billions and billions of dollars worth of crypto and Bitcoin. And that's good. But also what he's doing, which is even more important that people talk not as much about, is the fact that he's inspiring other big companies to do the same. So you have his billions coming in, but also other billions coming in thanks to him. So that's huge. And then you have inflation. So inflation is increasing all the time, not only in the United States or in UAE or Europe, but like literally everywhere in the world. And it's even worse in many countries. So, with high inflation that you see in many countries now, people are buying Bitcoin now, not because they want to buy it. They're buying it because they literally have to buy it. They don't really have a choice. Like, they need to save their purchasing power of their wealth. And when this skyrockets, when this spirals and you have the snowball effect, eventually Bitcoin will become like a black hole that sucks in all of that money printing, because the more they print, the less confidence people have in the fiat currency system, and then people's money will go somewhere else. And I am extremely confident that Bitcoin will be that financial monetary black hole where all that money goes in, and then we're gonna stop talking about what's the price of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is gonna be the actual instrument we use to price other things in. So like I said, it could take 20-30 years, but also if the dollar collapses in 10 years or 5 years, it's gonna happen at that point. So I think we're on the verge of that happening. And if you want to be on the right side of that wealth transfer, because that's all it is actually, like, you can't destroy money. Money is energy, and if people went to school, which I kind of did, I learned the laws of it's thermodynamics in English. Yeah. I'm not sure, but basically energy can't be destroyed. It cannot be. It can only move places. You can change energy's form, but you cannot destroy it. That's the same with money. So just because the dollar collapses doesn't mean that money is gone now. The energy, the monetary energy, will just go somewhere else. It could go to gold, it could go to real estate, could go to Bitcoin. In my opinion, most of it will go to gold, silver, and Bitcoin. What about luxury goods? I don't think so, because luxury goods right now, most of it is propped up by the fact that people need to buy them. So if I explain it like this, inflation.
So when I say luxury goods, well, I'm not talking about a Gucci handbag. I'm talking the Pateks, the Rolexes, the Richard Milles. Classic cars, art.
I would say no, because the problem with art and classic cars and even real estate and watches right now is that people are using these things not for their true intended purpose, but they're using them as money. The reason why they're using them as money is because their other money sucks. The dollar absolutely sucks. The fiat system sucks. It has so much inflation that, and that's actually the intended purpose of fiat. They want to print it so that you go and spend. That's actually how the monetary policy works. Like that's Keynesian economics. That's what they're doing. They're pushing you to take debt and spend your money because that's how they get the economy going. Like it's completely bullshit. Like it's a stupid system, but that's how mainstream economics works. And the problem now is that instead of using fiat as people's savings, people are buying cars and watches and real estate and art to basically store wealth. And the problem with that is the moment we see a financial collapse, and especially with real estate is a good example because people will start selling their real estate. And I'll tell you why. Because many people now, they have like 10 apartments. Like I'm saying many, but like, yeah, people that are rich.
People in Dubai.
Yeah. No, but like there's a lot of people today that take real estate just as a pure investment, right? Like they have 10 apartments or they have 2 villas or 3 villas, whatever. Like, and I'm not saying everyone. Yeah, I'm not, like, I am a little bit humble still. But the problem here is that these people are buying real estate to invest, not to live there. And actually the true intended purpose of buying a villa since thousands of years or like hundreds of years is you buy a home to live in there, to shelter your family, right? That's the point of a home. Real estate has now become a better money than money itself. So when you have a financial collapse, a lot of people they will sell these villas because they don't live there. They're just gonna sell them. So I think that there's gonna be like a real estate crash initially when you see a fiat collapse, because people are just gonna start selling everything they have to basically save their wealth, and they will only keep the home they actually live in. So I think real estate is massively overvalued compared to where it should be right now, because people are using real estate as money, not as a home. And the same goes for classic cars and all these things. Gold is deeply undervalued right now. Silver, deeply undervalued. Bitcoin, extremely undervalued. Those are the only assets I would accumulate heavily right now. When I buy watches and cars and stuff, it's just for fun. Like I also want to take profits and like enjoy life, but I don't expect them to necessarily like make me more money in the future. I buy them not as an investment. I buy them just for enjoying life.
But you don't expect them to tank either. I mean, if you were buying a $250,000 watch, I mean, as much as you could maybe afford to lose it, you probably wouldn't be buying that watch if you thought it was going to go to zero.
I don't think it's going to go to zero, but I also think that when you see a stock market crash, like a proper one, and I think we're going to see one of that very soon. I think we're going to see 1929 kind of depression, stock market crash at some point. Maybe not in the next 5 years, but in the next 10, 15 years, we're going to see it. And at that moment, I think watches will become almost worthless, because who's going to buy watches when people are struggling to survive? And it will happen. People live in their dream world now with Keynesian economics, where they just print money out of nowhere to save you. But it's like kicking the can down the road, and then eventually you can't keep printing, because you can't print money into infinity, because when you do, the value devalues, and eventually you're debasing the whole currency base, and it's gone. So eventually you're gonna see a stock market crash that completely destroys the financial world, and that means 90% of people in the world will lose basically all they have, and that's extremely unfortunate. But it is programmed. It's an inevitable fact. And the only thing people can do now is to accumulate Bitcoin, gold, and silver to save themselves from that disaster. Like I said earlier, I view Bitcoin as a Noah's Ark. You know the disaster is coming, the collapse is coming, the flood is coming, so get on a boat. Buy Bitcoin, that's your boat,
Do you buy gold as well?
I did. Before Bitcoin, I was buying gold. Right now, I still only buy Bitcoin because the price is so low. But Bitcoin is still 100K. I'm expecting Bitcoin to go to millions of dollars. But next year in 2025, when Bitcoin goes like 200-300K, I am going to be liquidating some Bitcoin into gold, because gold is, in my opinion, like, you know, such an obvious investment.
When you say Bitcoin right now is so cheap, I mean, what are you benchmarking that against? So you cheap against what you think it will be worth in the future. So that would be like someone saying, I'm buying whatever, I'm buying Marks and Spencer's shares now because they're cheap, because they believe that the cash flow, the future cash flow, etc., dictates that share must be at a higher price.
Well, it's cheap against gold, for example. Gold is worth, I think, 15 trillion. Bitcoin is less than 2 trillion. So I think Bitcoin easily should go up 6, 7, 8x to par gold. I think that could happen already next year if we're very lucky. But in the next 5 years, I am extremely confident that will happen. So that means Bitcoin could go to like 700, even, let's say $1 million within 5 years. I think that's very, very likely to happen. And it's also cheap against the dollar. The dollar is, I think it's maybe, I don't remember the exact number, but tens of trillions. That's the value of the dollar. So it's very cheap against the dollar. It's cheap against the currency, the fiat currency system, which is worth like $100 trillion. So yeah, it's cheap against those bigger currencies. And I think that Bitcoin will become the currency of the world in the future. And against that future, it's very cheap. Because when Bitcoin goes to that future, it has to be at $6, $7, $8 million per coin, because that would mean now Bitcoin is the money of the world. And it can go even higher than that, because I think not only will Bitcoin take over the fiat currency of the world, which is like 100 trillion, but a lot of that real estate money that I talked about earlier will also go to Bitcoin. I think the real estate market is valued at like hundreds of trillions of dollars. Maybe only 20-30% of that is people that live in their own homes. Most of it is people using real estate as money. So when they sell, what are they going to sell into? The dollar? Definitely not, because it's going to be devalued. Gold? Yeah, probably. Bitcoin? Most definitely. So you have hundreds of trillions. So first you have the 100 trillion of fiat money, and then maybe, let's say, another 100 trillion or more from real estate, and then you have probably tens of trillions of dollars worth of other financial instruments from stock markets, because people use stock market as money as well. You probably have like maybe 3, 4, 500 trillion dollars worth of money or economic energy that could go to Bitcoin and gold. And if half of that goes to Bitcoin, then yeah, Bitcoin could go to maybe $15 million per coin. And then you could buy a private jet with the Bitcoin in the future. And you're going to be talking about, how much is the jet in Bitcoin, because the dollar will be like worthless. So yeah, I would say $15 million per Bitcoin is possible, maybe even 20 million, in today's money.
Yeah.
So without inflation. So with inflation, it's going to be worth, Bitcoin will be worth probably $1 trillion or 15 trillion, because the dollar itself will be completely worthless.
You mentioned Michael Saylor a minute ago. So what does he actually do? Because I always see his name popping up, online or in newspaper articles saying, Saylor's just bought another X million Bitcoins. To me, it just seems like all he does is borrow fiat money to go and buy Bitcoin. I mean, he doesn't seem to do any business. He just buys Bitcoin and sits there, and everyone says how amazing he is because he's made all this money. But I mean, I guess he has to service his fiat debt in some way as well. I mean, does he actually have a trading business as well, or is he literally just stockpiling Bitcoin?
He's literally just stockpiling Bitcoin. That's all he does.
So when he has to pay fiat returns to these investors on the bonds and things that he raises, he just liquidates a bit of Bitcoin to pay them?
Which he can easily do, because his profits are now, as we're recording this, in I think $20 billion in profits.
Really?
So yeah, he's completely killing it, I think, people say, you don't have any business model. But look, on average, I think he's making like probably $1 billion per month in profits on Bitcoin. That's more than most big companies in the world. Like, I don't even know if I don't know what Apple is making per month, but like it's probably on that level, so I think he's absolutely killing it. And if I had access to making that much debt to buy Bitcoin, I would do the same, 100%. But I don't have access to that because I don't have like a big publicly traded company that can do that. But yeah, I would say he's killing it like crazy. Yeah, and basically his company is like, it's almost like an ETF on Bitcoin, but with leverage. So it's like a 2x leveraged Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, people are buying it. In the bear market, most likely the stock will tank like crazy. But as long as there's a bull market, it's going to go up. But I also don't think the stock should go lower than the value of the Bitcoin they hold. That wouldn't really make sense. If it does, then it's a great buy to buy MicroStrategy, because then you're basically getting a discount on Bitcoin. But I just don't think that's going to happen, because it would be strange if it goes down below the value of the Bitcoin.
What's your view on centralized exchanges versus decentralized exchanges?
I think I would love to see decentralized exchanges become the norm, but they're still not perfect enough, for that. So centralized exchanges are still the way to go. Yeah, like people want to have a customer service they can call, and that's why centralized exchanges are the best.
But even if whether they're using centralized or decentralized, I mean, are you advocating that people should still be keeping the Bitcoin on cold storage, or keeping the crypto on cold storage?
I think
is that what I mean? Do you have anything on exchanges just to give you a bit of quick liquidity?
I do. I hold like in my Bybit account now, I have like $30 million, like, because that's what I'm using for like buying, going in and out of like altcoins and some leverage trading and like some yield things. But no, I most of my money I hold on cold storage in like very secure places where not even I have direct access, So it's like very secure.
What do you mean you don't have direct access?
Well, I don't want, like, most money, it has to be like triple signatures and stuff. So basically, like, I don't want someone to just like be able to come up to me, like put a gun to me and say, send your Bitcoin. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, for me, like, it's a process. Like, you can't just do that. So, but yeah, if someone holds just like $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, yeah, just put it on the hardware wallet, put it in your safe, should be fine, But same like Michael Saylor, like, he holds like $50 billion worth of Bitcoin. I don't think he has it on like one little ledger and just put it in one safe, because then it's like quite easy for someone to go steal it. So I don't know how he does the security, because that's a lot of money, but he solved it somehow, I guess.
I mean, we talk about stealing. I mean, I know it's yesterday's news to a degree, but you kind of can't have a crypto conversation without talking about FTX. Do things like that scare big industry players like you? I mean, I know, to the man on the street who, probably didn't even understand the crypto they were investing in the first place. Scares like that, probably put them off an industry that they didn't even know much about and were scared about in the beginning. But I mean, where does that make someone like yourself think, that, I mean, it could happen on any major exchange?
Yes, and that's why I only promote and talk about exchanges that I personally trust.
But my question is less about you, say, promoting someone bad, but why do you trust the ones you trust? Did you trust him at the time?
So, for example, FTX, they asked me to promote them, and I told them no, because I just didn't trust their business model, and I didn't get the right feeling with them. And when I promote anything, my legal team always has full due diligence done on exchanges and projects and everything. So most of them don't pass our due diligence. And those companies I promote now, like Bybit, Coinflare, and a couple of other exchanges. I met the founder myself, like I know the CEO myself, very important. My legal team has made due diligence. We see the company setup, like the business license, like all these things, like we know that is a legit setup, and if something happens, we know who to blame, So I take that very seriously. There's so many random like Chinese exchanges reaching out, but I don't trust them, so I don't promote them. But yeah, Bybit I trust. I've been with Bybit since 6 years. I've been their biggest KOL, like I gave them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of trading volume over the years. And yeah, I trust them, so that's why I trade with them.
You're a massive music fan. I see you online playing your guitar and doing a bit of singing, but very impressive. Where did that come from? Have you always been a musical buff?
Yeah, ever since I was probably like 11 or 12, I was playing a little bit of guitar and like trying to create my own songs. So ever since then, I've been writing songs, and I love making music. I love writing songs. I love creating things. Like I'm very creative. So, but yeah, my biggest passion in life is actually making music. So right now I've been focused on money for the past few years, which is good. Now I have money, but now I want to focus on things I really love doing, and that's why I want to release some of those songs I'm writing. And I'm not doing that to make money, because frankly I don't have to make any more money now. It's all about just creative freedom and having fun, and that's what I'm gonna do. I write all the songs myself, and that's my biggest passion.
I also see you a lot online with your brother, and your brother was born with Down syndrome, right? And I when I was doing a bit of research for this earlier, I saw you say that he'd also suffered cancer twice as well. Is he your only sibling?
I have him and then my sister as well.
What's that been like? I guess to grow up with when you were at home, and how do you find that relationship now? I mean, how much he understands about what's going on, I don't know, but talk to me a bit about that relationship.
Yeah, so he's disabled. Unfortunately, he's mentally disabled with the Down syndrome, and he had cancer twice. He was born also with a heart condition. And he was also born with a lymphangioma on his leg, which is like a huge cyst that was extremely aggressive, and he had 11 surgeries there, and had a big impact on his life for many years. So all these things are like, if you take these diseases and spread them out on like 100 people, it's still like statistically a lot of, like it's still like an anomaly. So having all of that in one person like that is extremely unlikely and extremely unfortunate, and he never did anything to anyone, so he doesn't deserve it, and it's just horrible. And of course the family also got affected, because when you have a child that is born with these kind of diseases, it affects the child obviously, but also the family, because my parents, they had to live in the hospital for years with him, and me and my sister, we were also affected, of course. But my parents, they didn't tell us always like how bad it was, like when he was like close to not surviving. They never told us like really the full picture, because they thought, what's the point of like putting stress on us? But my parents have been through a lot, and my brother, they've been fighting, like a complete war against these diseases. So that's horrible. He's alive and well today, like he's completely healthy now. Obviously you can't cure Down syndrome, but cancer is gone. His leg is now okay. Like it's okay, even though it looks like the chainsaw massacre here. Like it's horrible. His leg is completely destroyed, but he can walk, so that's good. And I mean, I guess that's the background that led me into charities for children with Down syndrome and any disability. So I made a few donations to charities where they help with children with any disabilities, that's very important for me. So it's because I have first-hand experience from that.
Do you find it fuels you in any way, either to be more successful, to give back to your brother or to your parents who've everything they've suffered? Is it a motivating factor in any way in your life, or it's just something you've always just learned to live with?
I just think it's like an obligation. Like I think it has to be done. Like when I have money and I know how people are struggling, children are struggling, I need to do something. Like it's like it's just it's an obligation. So that's how I see it, and that's why I do it.
So you said to me this morning that when I retire, I'm going to release an album. I know you said a minute ago you'd like to release an album, but you never mentioned the words "when I retire." Is that was that a comment in jest, or is there a retired Carl and a winding down Moon Group in the future?
So yeah, I'm gonna retire from crypto maybe already like 2025, 2026, like.
And not touch it, not make a trade again, just sit on the Bitcoin and.
I will just sit on all my Bitcoin, my crypto holdings, and just let it run. Yeah, I will still have my businesses, of course, but I will have people that are running them for me and taking care of business. And I want to focus on racing cars around the world, being with my family, being with my little brother, making music, and just enjoying life as as I think my life should be, you know, because I think money, I don't want money to be the point of my life, you know, because I think money, it's a means to an end, you know. I think money is good because it allows you to live your life you should be living, but you shouldn't be living your life for the money, you know. So for the past few years, I have frankly been living my life for the money a bit, because I'm like, I have to make all the money, I have to be rich and wealthy, which I think is a good motivating thing, because you need to make that money. It's very good to have a lot of money, it gives you freedom. Like I said earlier, money is energy, and that's all it is actually. And having an abundance of energy around you creates that freedom of location, freedom of choice, freedom of, like, you know, getting out of trouble. Like, money solves a lot of problems. So I think that's very good to have. But now that I have money, like, even if I double my net worth now or 10x it is not going to change my life. Like, I'm already rich. You know, I'm sure you're also at this point where, like, you're already rich at the point, like, even if you 10x your life or like your net worth, you're still going to live approximately the same life. Maybe a nicer car, maybe you're going to buy a jet, but like, it's not going to dramatically change your living quality. I think it's good to make money, and we should. Just I think my focus will shift, you know, towards, I will still make money, but it's not going to be like my life mission anymore, because I made money already. So yeah, music, family, and racing cars, and maybe more things. Maybe if I find other things to do. I also will have more time to do the charity work that I want to focus more on. You know, like there's another charity that I want to go and check out in Africa. A guy I met just a few weeks ago. He's building hospitals for children in Africa. And already built like 20 of them, and I want to go check that out and see if I can help out. And if I donate there, maybe he can build another dozen hospitals. Would be insane, right? So these kind of things I will have more time to do. And when I do charity, I'm very specific. First of all, it's only children with like disabilities. That's like my thing. That's what I care about. I do due diligence on exchanges, right? But I do the same on charities. Like, I want to make sure like it's a great charity, and like I want to know the founder, like who's behind everything, and where does the money go, and like, because sure, I can spend $1 million there, put $1 million there to charity, but it's better to do it where the ROI is good, and where the not ROI for me, but for the children, and where the money actually is spent for the intended purpose, and not
Absolutely.
Someone is taking the money. So that's very important, because in terms of ROI, for example, I could put 1 million in this charity and another 1 million in this charity, but here that million leads to, let's say, 20 hospitals, and here it's only 10. And then of course I'll do it here because they have bigger impact. So every dollar I put into this charity has higher impact. So I do some checks like that, because that's my business mindset coming into play. Like, I want to make sure that the money is well spent, and so that children get the maximum benefit of every dollar I put in charity. And yeah, this African one, I want to go check it out, and then I will fly there, of course, and be there on location and check it out. And yeah, that's what I will have more time for as well. This I will probably do next year already, but when I do actually retire, I could literally every month go and check out charities and you know, like really put like a big effort into it. And I think the biggest charity is actually not really money. It's like your time. Like, if you actually devote your time to really go out there and check what's the best thing to do, what's the best charity, that's the biggest best charity you can do, because giving your time is actually even more valuable. Like, sure, I can put like $1 billion there, like eventually, like if you're a billionaire, you can easily, but like, the money has to be well spent, and you need to make sure that the children do actually get taken care of. And the only way to really make sure is to be there yourself and know what you're putting the money into. So yeah, maybe I'll even create like a foundation or something where I have like a team that really truly does that for me, like I have in the Moon Group. So
The Moon Foundation.
something like this, yeah, it's very possible I do something like that. Right now I just take my money and I do it myself, you know, but I might do something like that.
Well, listen, Carl, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here, buddy. I want to thank you for, I guess, a really open, honest, tactical, factual, all the good words conversation, and hopefully we'll do a round 3, maybe in another couple of years, or maybe we won't leave it that long. You'll be retired by then. But whatever you go on to do, I have no doubt it'll be done with the same success, vigor, and smile on your face that I've come to know you've done all the other stuff. So thank you very much, mate.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, next podcast maybe we focus more on music, because hopefully that's what I'm doing most of my time.
You bring your guitar, I'll bring my tambourine, and it'll be a musical podcast.
Yeah. Thank you so much, bro. That was an amazing podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for tuning in to No Bollocks with Matt Haycox. Today's conversation was packed with actionable insights, and I'm super, super grateful that you joined us. Now, our community now boasts 160,000 downloads a month of this podcast, and that is a testament to entrepreneurs just like you who refuse to settle for mediocrity. So don't miss out. Subscribe now and gain exclusive access to the conversations that can transform your business and transform your life. Also, while you're at it, if you could visit www.matt-haycox.com or click the link in the show notes below, and please sign up to the No Bollocks newsletter. That's like the sister newsletter that lives with this podcast. Every week I send 2 emails, and in just 10 minutes you're going to gain more knowledge than most people doing a 3-year MBA. So please subscribe, rate, share this episode with someone who needs a No Bollocks boost. And until next time, keep hustling and keep winning.